What in the world just happened?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers, and thank you for joining us here live as we break down the literal definition of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. We saw that in the span of 2 minutes as Sooner magic evaporated before our eyes quicker than I've ever seen it. He's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. The Oklahoma Sooners just gave it away, just gave the game away at the end. And it was an absolutely inexcusable loss. It was inexcusable before we got to the point where we had the Billy Bowman go-ahead touchdown. But from there on, just a demoralizing, devastating loss, Jay.
John, with 2 minutes left in the game, we had the lead.
Had the lead.
23-16.
23-16.
With 2 minutes left in the game, we had the lead. With 2 minutes left in the game, John, we had to lead. Everybody, go ahead, jump to comments. Talk to me how y'all feel. Yeah, there's a lot of BS calls, there's a lot of holding, there's a lot of stuff. But I'm not going to use those. I'm not even going to mention any of that because I don't care.
Nope. Right now, I don't care. We'll analyze that
with
later.
2 minutes left in the game, we were up 23-16.
Yep.
We finished the game offensively with 257 yards of total offense. We threw for 135 yards. Our starting quarterback had 74. You can see I'm calm because I'm very frustrated that at this point, we probably need to look at letting go of Brent Venables. That's actually where I'm at now. This was a god-awful performance. This was everything bad you could imagine happened in this game. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. You had the lead. 2 minutes left. That's really it. That's really it. It's 2 minutes left. The offense is that inept. And yes, we're missing a ton of players. That's just the unfortunate part. All we had was young guys. Xavier Robinson, 9 carries, 56 yards. Probably should have played X the whole game. He was just running down their throat. All right? At this point, just let him run it down their throat. Because he's your only one. I get trying to preserve the red shirt, hoping. No. Just run it down their throat. But all you got. X-Rob should be running down their throat. That was it. We cooked a whole bunch of clock at the end there. And then we had to run a trick play to score a touchdown to tie it. There was 34 points scored in the fourth quarter of this game. John, I'm just baffled by the fact that our offense is that awful. Still. Looked so much better against Ole Miss until we had the injury. And of course, granted, we understand that Ole Miss's defensive line is unreal because they just destroyed Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We were up 23-16 with 2 minutes left in the game. That's the only thing I can say.
That's exactly where you want to be. If you are the Oklahoma Sooners, that's exactly where you want to be. 2 minutes left, an opportunity to close the game against a quarterback that hasn't really started a whole lot since 2022. Yes, a veteran. Yes, an experienced player.
Who was terrible against Alabama last week.
And had not necessarily been great in this game, although he did make some clutch throws. Billy Bowman, I don't know where you're at in coverage, but come on, my man. But you are exactly where you want to be. And there are two players that you have to seriously worry about creating big plays on that offense in Luther Burden and Theo Wees, and you let both get free for big plays that lead to the touchdown. The Theo Wees, Eli Bowen touchdown, like, okay, Eli Bowen's exactly where he needs to be. It's just a perfect ball, perfect catch. That's what it is.
That's on, that is 100% on Valai, Allie, whoever makes that decision. There was no reason for Eli Bowen to be on Theo Wees on that play.
You know,
there was
Eli
no
Bowen's
reason.
been your best corner, so I understand it a little bit.
I don't at all. I have zero understanding of it, and this is why. Luther Burden caught that deep pass on us. They had Jacoby Johnson on him over there. Luther Burden is 5'11". Put Eli Bowen, who's 5'9", 5'10-ish, on Luther Burden at all times. Then put 6'2" Jacoby Johnson on 6'2" Theo Wees and just say shadow him nonstop. Because I agree with you. Eli's been the best corner. Mm-hmm. But you don't put him on somebody when there's a chance for a jump ball that deep into the end zone.
Yep.
You don't do that. Because that's what's going to happen. Drew Pyne has not been good in 2 years. But he knows to throw the ball up to the tall guy.
Yes.
That's what he knows to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have little guy on tall guy. Just throw it in the air. You ain't got time. Just go boom, hike, and let's see what happens. There you go.
Yeah, it was one of those situations that it should never have gotten that far because you had the 3rd and 16, and that's where they complete that big play to Luther Burden where Jacoby falls down. Woody Washington's playing under on the coverage, but any scheme that's allowing Luther Burden to just get down the field behind you, it's not great. You should have been doubling him from the beginning on that because you knew they needed a big play because they needed a touchdown. And yet we let them have 2 big plays on that drive. And within, 20, 30 seconds, they were within the red zone. For a defensive team, they failed in the clutchest of moments to get a stop.
Only gave up 143
like they were heading
yards.
that direction.
Hey, I mean,
but they let Drew freaking Pyne go 75 yards in 57 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how we get there. Like, I don't know how that happens, man. The defense was supposed to be the calling card for this team, and they'd been good for most of this game, but there were just a couple of drives where they really kind of let the team down. And that final drive, when you absolutely needed a stop to win the game, you couldn't get it. You didn't get it.
Nope.
You had no help. So Jacoby Johnson falls down. Sorry, I just threw my phone on the floor. Jacoby Johnson falls down. Well, where's the safety help?
Right. That's what I don't get.
Where's Billy Bowman? Where's Peyton Bowen? Where's Robert Spears Jennings over the top on that?
What I still don't understand in this game, and I think about this with anybody that plays against anybody. When you have a guy with the talent that this individual by the name of Luther Burden III has, mm-hmm. that you tried to recruit, that you had committed, that decided to flip, to stay closer to home, that you really wanted to get, and you knew the talent that he has, considered one of the best wide receivers in the country, right? Why would you not have somebody follow him at all times? Like, I don't care about anybody else on the field. Nobody else matters. You stop Luther first. So somebody says, I got him. Perfect. Who got Theo? I got Theo. All right, perfect. Now everybody else figure that out. We're going to need one person deep to be over the top with both, just in case. Robert Spears Jennings, that's on you. Mm-hmm. Follow it. Why won't we do that? Why would you not stop that, John? That's what was baffling for me.
It was like they just I don't know. Somebody mentioned it over here in the comments that I thought was really Well put. Frankie mentions 3rd and long, and we run coverage and bring a 3-man rush. Yeah. I mean, I get that you don't want to get beat in man-to-man. You don't want to necessarily leave your corners on an island, but just rush 3. Yep. You're going to let them triple team our Mason. You're going to just let them, like, I get it's 3rd and 16, but they're going to be playing in 4 downs.
Yep.
Make him get rid of the ball fast and tackle. Like the whole plan on that final drive was just really, really unfortunate, Jay.
It was wild to even think that that's exactly what we did. It's just bananas that was the plan in this. And watching the entire game, I'm looking at this like, why are we doing that? Like, why wouldn't you go ahead and keep a 4-man? Or if you go to 3-man, have a blitzer ready to fly through. As they're triple teaming our Mason, you have a free rusher right at the quarterback's chest.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anybody blitz on the backside of Drew Pyne at all.
Nope. Which
that probably would have been a good idea, especially when you know he's going to go deep. Put pressure on him, make him move. Mm-hmm. When we made him move, he's dropping the ball, throwing it bad.
Yep.
But we didn't do that. We were playing as if we were afraid of our offense getting back on the field.
And that's exactly what ended up happening. I mean, listen, we'll talk Jackson Arnold because my goodness, but at the same time, it should have never gotten that far
at all.
You should have closed that game out. You should not have let them be able to go a minute and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that. We know the offense is cheeks. We've known it all year long. Especially since SEC play began, we knew you could not rely upon the offense. We saw some signs. We saw some positive things against Ole Miss. I'm not going to talk about the main game, but against Ole Miss, we saw some positive things in the first half. Well, there was none of that today. But for the defense to go out there and act like, hey, we can play coverage, we can drop back and let them drive the field, it just wasn't aggressive enough for me. It was playing not to lose. And that's not what I want from this team. I want this team to be like, hey, 2 minutes left. This is our time. This is our Mason Thomas time. This is Danny Stutzman time. It's time for us to take our game up and ratchet it up a little bit. But Oklahoma Stars let him down. Yes, we got the Billy Bowman, fumble return for a touchdown. It was kind of a gift. Shout out Samuel Omasigo for stripping the ball. But that ball was just right there for him to pick up and get. At the same time, like, I don't recall, Billy Bowman making another play in this game. Oh, the 4th and 1. He had the 4th and 1 stop on Luther Burden early in the game. So sorry, excuse me.
That hit was big.
That
hit was massive.
It was massive.
That hit was huge. And that kind of changed some momentum. Then the fumble recovery for the touchdown was massive, which you definitely needed.
Well, let's go to the offense then. Let's talk offense. We spent 13 minutes talking about the defense and how they let us down. Let's talk the offense, man. It was nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. You were finding some success in the run game early, went away from Taylor Tatum, only had 4 carries in the first half, 4 carries for 17 yards, and he only had 4 freaking carries in the first half. I don't know how that happens. And you had the ball enough to be able to give him the ball more. And then we saw at the end of the game, there's a lot of time on the clock. Oklahoma doesn't have to pass. I actually loved the script on that drive where they scored the touchdown, where it's, hey, we're going Xavier Robinson. This is what we've been asking for, right? The Xavier Robinson drive. Well, he gave it to you. He gave you everything on that. And it puts you in a position to score a touchdown. And I mean, he was good. He showed wiggle. He showed power, showed vision, got downhill fast. Where's that been all year? Why have we not seen him all year? I get you want to preserve red shirts, but in this day and age, and with what your offense is, you got to get talent on the field. You can't be worried about red shirts. I'm sorry. And at the running back position where guys might just stick around for 3 years anyway, like, you're going to keep a guy for 5 years after you redshirt him? No, you're not. Play the guys that can help you play.
Right. I know that was the hope, but you just got to go play everybody. Like that's what it's all. You got to play the best players on the field, especially because you're limping into every single game. At this point, everybody's hurt. You're just limping. So throw out there the only person out there without a peg leg and let them go run the ball. I mean, that's really all you can do. Everybody else is literally limping around, and now Burks is probably done for the year. That hit definitely finished him. He's done. There's no reason
to bring him back.
He can play. No,
even if he was fine, I wouldn't bring him back. Just sit him down.
Nope. We've gotten
you're getting rolled by Bama, and I don't think you have a shot in Baton Rouge. So
not at all. No shot at all. It's gonna be fun being there for the environment, just to say that I'm there and watch football. But yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry you have to go to that one.
Good.
Enjoy time with your daughter. Enjoy time with your daughter. Yeah,
that's basically all I'm going to do.
That'll be the beauty of it. It was crazy. I mean, you go up, you get the lead. No reason they should have lost that game. Not one bit. They shouldn't have lost that game. You're up 9-3 at halftime.
Yeah, listen, that was where your problem lies.
And you're playing to the script, right? You're playing a defensive game. Even though you had turned the ball over, you had a turnover on downs. You're still
hurt.
You're still up 9-3. That turnover on downs in the second half, obviously that gave Missouri a ton of life, and they went down and they scored a touchdown, and that really changed the momentum of the game. Parker Thune had it right. Why go for it on 4th and 1? Why not continue to play the field position battle? You'd kind of gotten lucky with the fake punt early in the game to be able to steal a possession. You tried your hand at it a little bit too much. Also, if we're 4th and 1 on that and you're handing to Taylor Tatum, you maybe need to not run the zone read on that and just run downhill. But Jackson Arnold needs to keep that one. Like there were several of those zone reads where Jackson Arnold needed to keep it and he didn't. Jackson Arnold played a terrible game tonight.
His decision making has been bad.
Nope.
Just about all season. Like he looked his best against Ole Miss. Yep. And you're like, okay, maybe a revival. And then this was the game where you've got all your wide receivers back. All you got to do is put the ball in the right places and you're good. No. Get the ball to Farouk. I think he threw the ball to Farouk twice. I think he threw to Burks maybe 4 times. You got to target those dudes more. Why? Yeah. Because they're your best wide receivers. Just get the ball thrown to them. Let them go figure it out. Burks ended up the game with 5 receptions, so he had probably 7 targets, right? I think he had 2 passes that ended up incomplete. One of them was a pass interference, but throw it.
Yeah, you got to throw it.
Give it to those guys. And he holds the ball for too long. That's the thing I've complained about all season long. It's even trying to go with quick plays, John. Like, so you can get rid of the ball quickly. I noticed that they started doing that. That's the tight end screens that always end up in the loss of yards. Swing pass to the running back. Get some swing pass to the running backs more often. Just get it out to them. Let them go. That's your best bet. Or get the running back up the middle and then have him turn around and just dump it right there in the middle. Mm-hmm. Or, Jackson was running it, so he was doing well with that. But that's what you got to do. You got to just get rid of the ball. And we did a horrendous job of doing that.
Nobody can beat man coverage. And if they're not beating man coverage and getting wide open, he's not throwing it. And I hate that, man. You got to sling it. You just have to.
They were beating man coverage. He just wasn't throwing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when he was throwing it, guys recovered it. And
across the middle. Yes.
And the fact that we just could not seem to get away from Bauer Sharp and trying to make him out to be Travis Kelce or George Kittle. Like we're trying to run George Kittle or Brock Bowers type plays with Bauer Sharp is just not a recipe for success. Like it was not a great game for Jackson Arnold. It did nothing for Joe John Finley's resume. Listen, and yes, Jackson Arnold was under pressure, but it wasn't so much pressure that he shouldn't have been able to make some plays. At this point in the season, with this much experience, he had to be better than what he was.
That third field goal that we got, Jackson Arnold had one of the cleaner pockets he's had all season. And Deion Burks was breaking perfectly. Put it this way. If he would have thrown the ball to Deion Burks the way that he threw the ball to Jalil Farouk against Temple in the first game, that was a touchdown. That's all you had to do. It was perfect. And they replayed it. And And Burks is on the sideline. You saw them having a conversation. Burks is just like, dog, just throw it in the air. I'm going to go get it. But the fact that he sees ghost and he thinks that the defense is coming when they're really not, his fear is just making it worse for all of us. Because it's giving us not only a bad experience on the field, but bad experience on television. It's bad game, period.
Yep.
That was it. And then, of course, his tradition of fumbling a ball whenever he gets tackled. It's just, he had 3 fumbles in this game.
Just terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
He is a turnover machine.
I'm ready to admit it.
At this point, you got to just go ahead and wash your hands.
Here I am.
He had 3 fumbles in this game.
And that last one, it's because he's just holding the ball too low.
Yeah.
He's just running too loose with the football. And it gets knocked out as he's getting tackled, Yep. You hold on to the ball, protect the ball, and you have a much better chance. Like you can't lose the ball in that situation. You just can't
Throw it out of bounds.
It's inside the 5 against Tennessee again.
To me,
at the 5-yard line. You cannot lose the ball in those situations. You just cannot. It's just not
see ghost?
anything you can do.
You feel the pressure, just throw it out of bounds. Just throw it to the sideline. You've got a wide receiver there. Just throw it over there. We're looking at a wide receiver. You're eyeballing them. Just immediately, just throw it far as possible out of bounds.
Yep. Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
And
then you're going to get hit.
Live to fight another day, man.
Fight another day.
Got to live to fight another day. Man, I don't know.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Stutzman finished his game with 19 total tackles with 5 solos. Absurd.
Very few of them felt very impactful.
Yeah. There was nothing. We didn't get anything out of this game. It was.
I don't know how many tackles for loss did he have.
He had 0 tackles for loss. We had 8 total as a team. 3 sacks.
19 total tackles and 0 tackles for loss. I love you, Danny. I do. You do a great job. And
you're getting pressure.
You put pressure on Drew Pyne a couple times, but your splash plays have really evaporated. The same for Billy Bowman, man. Like as good as he can be, he just got lost in coverage too. I know we've kind of gone from wider. I want to go back to the offense late in the game. Why are we throwing jump balls to Brennan Thompson?
That's when I put my phone down and went ahead and stood up and walked away. That just told me it was time for me to just walk away. And then Jackson Arnold decides to scramble. And instead of when he saw he got past the first down marker, sliding to the ground to get the timeout, because the clock stops when you get a first down. He just slid right there, first down, probably 3 seconds left on the clock. Then you could have just thrown a jump ball down the field to J.J. Hester. You could have brought all your tall wide receivers out there, carry on all of them. And he stepped up, launched that thing. He could have did that. He has the arm for it. He could do it, but
just no situational awareness.
Just
very poor situational awareness. And I get very inexperienced. He's inexperienced. At this point, he's experienced. He's got enough experience to know what you're supposed to do in a 2-minute situation. You get the ball out of bounds. You pick up the first down. You should know what you're supposed to do in that situation. And that's a Jackson Arnold thing. That's an offensive coordinator thing. That's a quarterback coach thing as well. The offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, the head coach, the coaching staff all together, they failed this team today. They 100% failed the team as the team failed themselves. The game plan was not there. The offense could barely move the ball. You get down 1st and 10 or 1st and goal at the 10 and you have to drop back to pass 3 times. That's the plan.
3 times.
You get the delay of game penalty, which in this day and age, how anybody ever gets a delay of game penalty is beyond me. But you got to delay a game at 1st and goal at the 10.
Amazing, right? How do you get delay a game?
How do you do that? And then you get sacked, interception. It's just, or not interception, but incompletion. But it's just mind-boggling. Just mind-boggling.
I'm baffled.
How poor the offensive plan was, how poor the execution was, how poor the ball security was, how poor the finish was. Just all of it. This is the first time. Listen, I'm going to bring this comment up. Will Lehman says, I'm instilling Gabriel, just saying this is the first time that I really feel like Dylan Gabriel would have won that football game.
Oh,
Like
he would have
if you
figured
have
it out.
Dylan Gabriel in this game, Gabriel wins this game. 100%. There have not been many games this year where I feel like the quarterback, like Dylan Gabriel, would have absolutely made the difference because your wide receiver core is terrible, your offensive line's terrible, your run game's terrible. But maybe against Ole Miss, and definitely in this game, you win it if you have Dylan Gabriel. So, listen, Jackson Arnold, man, I've been your biggest supporter, biggest fan. There's no excuse for the performance that you had. Now, with 2 weeks ready to get ready for Alabama, you've got to open up the quarterback competition once again.
Yeah.
I'm there.
No, I actually no. I don't want to open the quarterback competition. I want a new quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what,
at this point, we just need to move forward. It's not going to work.
3 fumbles in this game.
Three fumbles.
We're going to be ball security has been what's made the decision, right?
Every single week. And it happens
Jackson
with
Arnold
both
to Michael
of them.
Hawkins because of ball security. Went from Michael Hawkins back to Jackson Arnold because of ball security. Now you got to consider going back to Jackson Arnold or back to Michael Hawkins because of ball security.
You got to do it again. It's like, all about ball security. It's like it's the determining factor for us is that we gave up 4 turnovers in this game, and what's crazy is that there were 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
How do you turn the ball over 4 times in a game and none of them are interceptions?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, there's only 2 ways to turn the ball over, but John, we did not throw a single interception. Oh, it's because we didn't even take a chance on our throws. Even though one of them almost got picked off and returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But hey.
Well, yeah, my wife was like, how did that not get intercepted? I was like, I don't know. I really didn't know, and I didn't have an answer. And I thought at that point, hey, maybe we got a little something cooking here. We got a little magic happening. And then we had a little magic happening. A lot of magic happening again. And then it just went up in smoke.
A lot of magic with the opposite direction. So, yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous right now. And
it's just amazing, John.
I mean, I get that, you don't want to fire a coach that's got a $44 million buyout. I understand that. I can't argue with you, though. This is my man Jaron Spoor. He used to write for me over at Sooners Wire. Now he's over at Athlon. He brought up a really good point in one of our group chats. He said there have been a lot of like toss-up games that Oklahoma's played, and a lot of them that they've lost.
Yeah, the second year in a row.
Whether it's Oklahoma State or Kansas, or go back to even the 2022 season.
2022 seasons when we had all of those, close ones. 23 we did better. And then this year we went the complete opposite direction.
And yeah, I mean, this was a toss-up game. The line said it was. You were a 3-point favorite in this one. And all because of Drew Pyne. And you let Drew Pyne have a really good game.
Right.
So I understand the folks that are ready to move on from your head coach. I understand. I don't like to call for anybody losing their job. I don't really like to call for, anybody to make that kind of a decision. Again, $44 million as a buyout is a really large chunk of change for Joe Castiglione and Joseph Harraz to consider.
They better pick up the phone and call the Love family and beg them, like, please.
It would be tough to go through a reset again 3 years in. But if you're Oklahoma, you have to ask yourself, is 2 losing seasons in 3 years acceptable? And at Oklahoma, it's not. And if that's the case, I mean, we can talk offensive line struggles. We can talk the wide receiver injuries. We can talk, your quarterback struggles. We can talk all of that. Firing an offensive coordinator in the middle of the season, that's fine. That's all on your head coach. Your head coach hired the offensive coordinator. Your head coach either did not force your offensive line coach to invest heavily in NIL to make sure that they landed some big time prospects along the offensive line in the portal, or to keep a freshman All-American at guard. I mean, your head coach, he has to own all that.
This is an inexcusable loss.
And so that's what it all comes down to, is the reason they lost this game is because their offensive line hasn't been good enough all year, and it's got your quarterback not comfortable. And when he's not comfortable, he's not throwing it. But at some point, you've got to be uncomfortable and willing to throw it. Drew Pyne was uncomfortable and willing to throw it. And made some plays. Your offensive coordinator was not up to snuff tonight. He did not create an offensive game plan that let Jackson Arnold be successful. Your running backs coach, for some reason, has kept Xavier Robinson on the sideline all year long. And he's been really good. He was really good. He's been really good every time he got on the field, but was excellent tonight. Was one of the few bright spots on offense. And he's just been chilling.
I don't understand why we even played him late in games earlier in the season.
Yeah, why'd you play him against Texas? What was the point of that?
I don't understand I mean, I get that. I guess Hicks is in the doghouse, and that's going to be a situation that's going to be over. But why didn't you have him close games? Save Robinson. I mean, I know you want to see what he looks like. He got a little bit of a taste against, what was that, Temple? I wouldn't have played him until last week. I've been like, all right, last 4 games of the season's not going too good. Let's go ahead and put X Robbie and see what he does. And dude, 9 carries, 56 yards. He was It's funny because he was finding holes that no one else could find. And the holes were, people were being moved, and we just kept running down their throat. Shocker. Now, granted, I know our offensive line is either transfers or very young players. And if you want to build an offensive line in college football that's sustainable, you have to have them in recruits and have them in your system for a couple of years to do it. We're a year away on that. But at the same time, this dude found holes, or he made them. Should just let him run down people's throat. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, at the very least, if he's not getting a hole, he's going to get you 2 to 3 yards
every time,
and that's going to keep you moving forward.
Always forward.
Listen, fumbles are not on the coaches; they're on the players. Who prepares the players? Who develops the players? Who recruits the players? If we were having a season like this at the NFL level, where the offensive line talent was not good enough, not deep enough, do you think that they'd be just sitting back and look at Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys, right? What's happening there right now? He's coming off of 3 straight seasons of 12 wins for the Cowboys. And his seat is hotter than just about anybody's in the country right now in the NFL. Yep. Now, Jerry Jones has got all the money in the world. He can pay whatever buyout he wants to. At the same time, listen, I love BV. I think he's a great dude. I think he's got a great idea for culture. He's a great recruiter. He's a really great defensive mind. But for whatever reason, we're not closing games that we need to close. We're not playing tough in the key moments of games, whether it's the Ole Miss game or this game. When you have opportunities, you're not your staff hires, your staff is not coaching in a way that's putting your team in a place to be successful. And so, listen, I'm not sitting here saying get rid of BV, but I totally understand where people are coming from. And I understand there might be some long questions or long conversations that need to happen. But ultimately, it's got to be better. It's got to be. You can't have another year like this.
At all. You can't afford it.
And I don't want to sit here and sound like it's hopeless, but you've got to be better. You got to be better. This was a winnable game that you turned the ball over. I get it. You turned the ball over a bunch. The players did that. At the same time, it doesn't just come down to those 3 plays.
Nope.
A 4th and 1 failure on downs. Your defense not coming through in the clutch moments. Letting your offense get back on the field in the final 2 minutes. I mean, that's coaching too, right? Jackson Arnold not knowing to get down. That's got to be coaching too, right?
34 points scored.
Saying, hey, if you scramble, you got to make sure you get down. I mean,
yep. That's exactly it.
If the coach is the CEO of the team, he's responsible for everything that happens.
Yep. That should have been the first thing you should have told him is throw the ball deep. If you don't throw it, you need to make sure you get down after the first because that stops the clock.
Yeah.
Period. That's the first thing I would have thought. As soon as I saw him screaming, I'm like, I hope he slides. He's not going to slide, is he? Nope, he's not about to slide. He's going to try to figure something out. That was dumb.
Yeah.
Just slide and be done. So,
Listen, I still think
Nothing but pain.
I still think it can get better, just not this year.
Oh yeah, I've been out on 24
for a minute. I was just hoping to get to a bowl game, right? We were just trying to get to a bowl game.
That's the only thing I cared about was getting to a bowl game, and that win, that should have happened today would have been the got us to the bowl game.
Yep,
that's what we should have been focused on. I was
jumping up and down in my living room, like, hey, we get to go to a bowl game. Which
2 minutes left in the game.
How far have we fallen? We're celebrating the opportunity to go to a bowl game. It's terrible.
We're 2 minutes left in the game, and we're up 23-16.
23-16. Had an opportunity to close it out. Couldn't do it.
Yep. 23-16 with 2 minutes left in the game.
All right. There's been so many really good comments out there.
Oh yeah. I know y'all are firing them off.
Let's run through a few of them here. There's a couple that are kind of funny. GP Production says, goodbye, Locked On Sooners. Hello, Locked On Thunder. Don't abandon us just yet, please. But the phenomenal Rylan Styles is fantastic. Go check out his show over there. Love Rylan, even though I'm a Mavs fan because I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
I'm sorry.
Well, I live in Oklahoma now. I live here now, but
fair. But you're still a Mavs fan. And
I grew up on Dirk, man. How can you not grow up on Dirk? Anyway,
Dirk was good.
But go check out Locked On Mavs if you are from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There was another one here. This one cracked me up. Bauer Sharp is the Jar Jar Binks of the offense.
Well played, my friend. Well played.
That one had me. I like that one. Atomic Comics said, when OU was up 23-16, I turned to my wife and said, OU is still going to lose. We had different conversations. I turned to my wife. I was like, I can't believe we're going to win this one. And here we are. Collins McDaniel says, I just keep laughing to keep from cussing like a sailor. Yeah, man. I keep laughing just to keep from crying. It's how down.
Yeah, there's a lot of pain.
That's how down bad I am.
There's a lot of pain in my soul.
Yeah. Boom to the Sooners says, where was Robinson prior to this game? Angry emoji. Yeah, that's the question I think everybody's going to be asking because he played really, really well. Gage, I feel empty. I feel you, buddy. I do. I feel you, buddy. That's one. Brad 405 BS call on Woody Washington. I agree. There was weak sauce.
There was a long list of very weak or not called things. There was a lot of holding. I saw a lot of people grabbing at the collar.
Yeah.
To help keep Pyne from getting leveled, but to me, don't even matter. You were up 23-16 with 2 minutes left in the game.
Yep. Yeah. That's all you needed to do. Ryan says, I for sure thought that we won that game when Bowman scored that TD. Jackson Arnold fumbling at the end gave me Tennessee flashbacks.
He is very generous, and it appears we do run a bakery, and I wish we would discontinue turnovers.
That's right. Yeah. Quit giving them the hot cross buns.
That would be nice, but no, it's not something we want to do.
Randall asks, where is the leadership on offense? Why isn't anybody standing up for each other on the late and dirty hits by Mizzou? Pathetic display.
Oh, they were losing their minds on the sideline, but it don't mean anything.
Yeah, the defensive guys can't run on the field to protect anybody.
Yeah, you gotta send your film to the office. And
I'm gonna say this about my man Josh Bates, my boy Josh Bates. He might not be quite ready to play power force center full time, but that's a dude that'll get in somebody's face.
Yeah, he'll fight somebody.
If somebody gets taken out, if there's a cheap shot. Let's remember that when we think about Josh Bates. Because that's what Tanner says. BV got to be fighting for that targeting call. Got to show your players you care for them. Yeah, it was a hard hit. It's a bang bang play. Probably not getting called for targeting, but you gotta argue for it, right?
Yeah, you really do.
Oh, man. Any other ones here? Tyler says, young team, y'all. They still in the jersey. They know what's up. Hawkins is going to be the guy next year. Add in Barnes and a healthy line. We're going to be good. Hey, man, I'm for that. Give me that kind of optimism. It's hard for me with 2 games left to already be thinking about next year. But that's where we're at.
Yep. We gave Drinkwitz a platform now. We let Millhouse survive.
I cannot use the Millhouse meme now because he beat us, and that makes me sad.
It appears that Farouk is injured again.
Of course. Hey, listen, shout out to Theo Wees. He had a great game. You hate to see it.
Yeah, you do. He told everybody to go home. He went over to the Sooner section and was telling everybody to go home.
And Caden Green, I don't know if he necessarily had a great game. I saw him chip my man Jaden Jackson, or chop block my man Jaden Jackson at one point. But not chop block, cut block. That's the positive way to say that. Easy money. The defense looked like Riley's defense at the end of the game. It really did.
Yeah, we handed it right back to him.
Yeah, really did. Aaron Johnson says the defense kept them in the game and JA made sure they won the game. We need to move on from quarterback and maybe the head coach. This is the worst season I've seen in 18 years. This year is over as it's over. We'll just say it's over. Kimberly says, respectfully, nobody advocates for those players like BV does. The parents attest to that. So as fans, we need to be careful when speaking on only what the cameras show us. I mean,
I agree. I did see, I saw BV in the face of the refs, and I've seen some of the coaches in the face of the refs. It's just in that situation, he could have called a timeout to request for a review. So that's kind of in the rule book for targeting.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised that they didn't go at least look at it. You know, that does surprise me a little bit. They
should have reviewed that.
Yeah. What else do we need to touch on here before we get out of here? We'll have a lot to say on this game over the next few days. Actually, we got the bye week coming, so we'll have a lot to say for several days going into the bye. We'll probably get into some recruiting stuff because we're getting close to the end of the high school season and the football season, which means the early signing period. I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to look a little bit different this year because of the financial commitment signatures. It's going to be different, but we'll start discussing some of that, try to get ready for 2025. We'll figure out what has to change, what has to get better moving forward. Yeah, Kirk, this is a great one. Never thought I'd see where our punter is the MVP of the entire season.
Elzinga.
Hey, shout out to Zach Schmidt also.
Hey, Schmidt gets nothing but love for those deep field goal, bro.
56-yard field goal before halftime.
He kicked a 56-yarder. He got a 40, a 35, and 56.
Money.
We went into halftime with him having more field goal yards than we had passing yards.
Money. So aside from the Peyton Bowen muff kick, which for the life of me, I don't know what OU ever did to deserve not being able to field a punt cleanly for an entire season, but that's where we're at for the last several years. But special teams had a really good day otherwise with Elzinga, with Zach Schmidt, with Elzinga's pop pass to Bauer Sharp for 47 yards. Yeah. A few more bright spots. Xavier Robinson played a good game. Again, I don't think the offensive line was a train wreck. I thought it was good enough. Right? Am I lying here?
It was. No, because there were some pretty solid pockets. And when they showed the replay, especially like I said, that touchdown, that could have been there, but we kicked the field goal instead for 40. That was the 35-yarder. Mm-hmm. When the play happened, it was like as soon as it hiked it, instead of Jackson Arnold doing his typical progressions, he immediately tucked and tried to run. And you can see Burks doing his route, boom, going to the out, and it was literally him in the corner of the end zone. All you had to do is do your typical beautiful live pass, and he could have came across like boom. Now, if this is college football 25, it probably would have got intercepted because they magically come across and pick off everything. Yeah. But in real life, if he would have lobbed it to that corner, Burks catches a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so it's just bad. It's everything's bad. It's all bad.
It's all bad.
All bad.
Your young running backs, Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, they carried the ball 17 times for 81 yards. They averaged 4.76 yards per carry. I thought Taylor Tatum was running really well in the first half. The second half, they just tried to run him up inside way too much. Yeah.
I guess it was probably because they didn't have They didn't trust the tackles, so
Yeah.
they didn't want to run the outside because the edges were getting around them. But the thing is the way the pocket was constructed and how it's constructed properly is when those edges were going around, he should have, as soon as he hiked it, stepped right into the middle because your three dudes in the middle, Waywu, Everett, and Ozida were doing a fantastic job of keeping you an open little pocket there. That's what he needs to do. Let those dudes rush on the outside, get them, and then boom, push them, step up, launch it. Decision making has to be faster to help. But when X-Rob was going, man, you saw Everett clearing out the hole. Like he was clearing it out to get yards on top of yards on top of yards. I was just like, dang, he is really on it. Like Troy Everett is muscling dudes. So, but yeah,
and that's a stout interior defensive line that Missouri's got with Chris McClellan leading the way. Those guys are really, really good on the interior. I thought Deshaun McCullough had a really good game. You know, I thought he had some really, really strong moments. Anybody else that stood out that we should kind of end on a high note here with?
Elzinga threw a first down.
Yeah, Elzinga threw a first down. No, listen, I think there's a lot of if there's a positive you can take away from it is I think a lot of your defense does come back that you can continue to build on.
Yeah. That's the critical thing here is majority of them are back. Your secondary has more experience now. Mm-hmm. They can go watch all that tape and realize all the mistakes they made and grow from it. Like Jacoby falling down when he's chasing Luther Burton. Still don't get why you would put him on Luther Burton. That is who you put Eli on, and you put Jacoby on Theo Weiss, so you can go match size and athleticism with athleticism and just let Eli just chase around Luther. It'd have been so much smarter. But yes, you've got a lot. That's one of the bigger problems. Secondary wise, corner wise, it's transfer dudes and really young dudes. Mm-hmm. And in your offensive line is the exact same thing. So now that your young dudes are actually going into their sophomore, junior year, when healthy, they're fine. If we had both the Jakes, the line would have been a hell of a lot better. Again, we literally this was our 9th offensive configuration in 10 games.
Yeah.
9th. We've had 4 different centers. We've had 4 different tackles, 8 different tackles. And you've had 3 different guards. Brutal. Hatchet will be back. Waywu has improved every single week.
Ozida, I think you've got something there.
Ozida has improved every single week. Howland looked pretty good in this game. That left side looked stout. The blind side looked good. A lot better than it's been any other time.
Yeah.
Everett is your dude. He's your starting center going forward, period. You protect him and make sure that he's good going to next season. And then secondary wise, you felt the gravity that Gentry Williams and Kendall Doby not being on the field. You have Kendall Doby, you have no problems in this game.
That one, man, you brought that up earlier in the week and that one just really hit me. I was like, yeah, losing Dolby. Gentry was tough. I think losing Kendall Dolby might be bigger. The biggest loss you've experienced on either side.
He cleans up a lot of stuff for your DBs too, right? So not having Gentry, you can play younger guys, but Dolby cleans up so much. Losing him hurt. That you saw it dang near immediately.
Yeah.
And that's where we got worse in our pass as we've regressed. Even though we only gave up 143 yards passing in this game. Bananas.
How much of that came on that final drive? Was it 75?
Just about all of it. I think
75 yards on that final drive. Just my goodness. And I think that's all we can. That's all we can really say for now. We'll continue to break this game down on our shows coming up this week here on Locked On Sooners. So make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for coming and being with us, venting your frustrations as we vent our frustrations. Just know we are Sooner fans. We are going to be with this team, supporting this team regardless, but we also want to see better of this team. And I think you do too. You expect better. We expect better. And listen, there is some hope. It's just down the road.
Yeah.
Down the road. And I don't like doing that. I don't like look aheads because a lot's got to get better, and you have to do it through the portal with your offensive line and development. And not looking forward to watching this team against Alabama in 2 weeks. Not looking forward to
I
watching.
can't wait to watch Alabama play in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have fun watching them.
If
Alabama
you like Jalen Milroe, take the over on his yardage.
oh yeah, he's gonna cook us.
Take whatever points you want to take, because Bama can probably pick their score. But listen, it's always fun to break it down at least and talk about the game. I don't think that they're doing anything at head coach. I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback, but they've got a lot of answers or a lot of questions to answer on the offensive side of the ball, namely who will be the offensive coordinator moving forward. We'll continue to discuss that over here over the next couple of weeks, because that's where we're at. But hey, that's going to do it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing to the show. Thanks for being a part of it. Again, stay with us. We'll have so much more to talk about this offseason, or this season, as we get ready for the offseason. So again, follow Jay at Unfair Sports, myself at John 9 Williams. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all the social media profiles. But until next time, he's Jay. I'm John. Boomer
Sooner. Oops.